What's up everyone, welcome back to Boost Gumps to the channel. Sorry it's been a little while between uploads, been a little while since you saw us, but at this point we should be getting back into regular uploads. So just wanted to make this quick little video sort of explaining where we've been or why the content has been lacking, I suppose. I know I don't owe it to anyone, but I just like to share with you guys because you're all along for the ride, and I assume you're probably sort of wondering. So anyway, I guess for starters, plain and simply, it's been just not a very cash money month for us. You know, probably a bit of oversharing, but it's probably important for you guys to all know it's not all you know, rainbows around here. Sometimes we have bad times. This month just sucked for a few reasons. I'll go into them a bit in a minute, but it's just been, we've been slogging away at this month, trying to reach a goal, which is sort of just fallen short everywhere, and it's just been a real painful slug of a month. So I've just been working huge hours. We've both been working massive hours. Pretty much I suppose the routine for the month. We've been coming to work, doing our day's work. I'll go home, you know, usually around 5:30. Help Mrs. with dinner, help with the young fella put into bed and that sort of stuff. Just give her generally a hand so she's not doing everything on her own. And then usually after we eat, we'll come back to the workshop and we'll work until 10, 11 o'clock, whatever time we need before we head home and share and go to bed. So that's pretty much been just the general routine, and we've just been doing massive hours, and I just simply have not had time to sort of go through any footage or edit or do anything. So it's just been like a painful month of just what seems to be roadblocks. We can't seem to catch a break. We've got all of this stuff on the go, which we just can't seem to get on top of. You know, I came into 2021, I really wanted to be coming in swinging, change the name of the channel. I was really keen for it to be a really good year. And I sort of changed the way that I was releasing content. A lot of you who have watched the channel know pretty much the catalyst for that was the 1FZ Turbo Cruiser, due to the massive gap in episodes for that thing, which I'll go into in a minute. And I really wanted to get to that point where I could sort of release content on a build, you know, one after the other, sort of the same way anyone who watches maybe Skid Factory or Nugget Garage, you know, the way those blokes release content, where they sort of just have a build and they just release content on that build as they go through it, and then they move on to the next thing, rather than what we previously have been doing, where we sort of just release content as we make it, which is usually all over the place for a few different reasons, and it was sort of getting a bit hard to follow for a lot of people and getting a bit up in the air, and I sort of wanted to get away from that. Particularly the massive gaps between episodes is what I wanted to start moving away from. So that's what I was trying to do, and it seemed like this month we should have sort of got like 3 or 4 of those long-term projects knocked over so that we could actually start releasing that sort of content. Unfortunately, it just didn't go that way. It just didn't happen. So this young LS1 is a sort of a new project that we actually started for ourselves. It's a shop ute for the workshop. We're going to be rebuilding the yellow 1-tonner that you often see in the background of videos. So that's one thing that sort of got underway, but we've sort of been able to make limited progress. Originally, when we started coming back after dinner, it was to complete our own projects. The idea was to put in a day's work on a customer's car or whatever, go home, eat dinner, come back, and then slog out a few hours on our personal projects so that we can get them done. However, we just ended up that busy this month that just turned into coming back and just continuing to work, and pretty much all of our personal projects have hit a standstill for that reason as well. So you'll see here a bit of a spoiler, but this is a very nice Forged 1J for Crust Eater. You'll see that content coming up, but that hit a bit of a wall as well. Unfortunately, we fell short of Rocky Nuts. It just didn't happen. It was not organized enough. We didn't have the parts we need. We didn't have the time that we needed to get the project completed. So that fell short, unfortunately. We sort of called that during the week. You'll see that in the content. It's a bit of a pain, however, you'll see in the content as well. I'm pretty happy that we actually get to make sure that's done properly rather than rush through it to try and meet a deadline. So as much of a pain as that is, that happened this month. That was another thing that was sort of meant to be going out this month. That's a V6. You'll see that was a complete toss. So we've got the mighty turboed 1FZ Land Cruiser out here. Sorry guys, it's getting pretty dark. It's getting pretty late today. I just wanted to get this filmed before I head home. But so we finally got everything back for that. You'll see that I'll start releasing content for that this week. What a jumble of words. I'll start releasing content for that this week, but pretty much explanatory. You know, we had to wait a long time for parts for the engine. Then we had to wait a long time for machine work. Then when we finally got it back, it was all good. We jumped into it. We had to order a radiator, and we've ended up having to wait a number of weeks for the radiator. So it was again that thing where I didn't want massive gaps between episodes. So I wanted to wait until it was pretty much nearly completed to start releasing content, so that it could just roll on and you could all enjoy watching the content without having to wait weeks between episodes. So it was all looking really good when we first got all the stuff back. It was looking like it was going to be one of those projects that I could start releasing soon. Then we ordered the radiator and it was going to be a 12-week wait for that. So then that sort of hit a standstill and we finally received the radiator today. I received it today so that we can finally start to finish the front end of this thing and actually started getting it together. We had a few other roadblocks with a lot of other issues that we didn't realize were a problem with the car, issues with the diff and the axles and stuff like that, which we didn't know at the start, which is probably mostly our fault for not communicating properly with the customer about what actually needed to be done. So it's a bit of a pain. There's a lot of other work there that we didn't count on. But either way, that is something that we will be getting into very soon. I'll start releasing content on that this week. That'll be sort of our punch back, getting back into the YouTube grind and making content. So here we have a GQ Patrol, which is another thing you will see in the content. This is another thing, it's been on the card since late last year. It was another thing that was meant to be smashed out for like 2 weeks. You know, the bloke who owns it, it's his work car. It was only meant to be here for a couple of weeks. For that reason, he got us, you know, the engine loom box at the end of last year so that we could have it all prepped, ready to go into the car. When he dropped it off, he ready for the conversion as soon as he received the conversion parts from Mark's four-wheel drive adapters. So the first thing we did when we received that was send the loom away to get modified. We had to get the loom modified to be standalone so that when we got the car here, we could smash the loom in and get it all smashed out. So that loom's been gone now for, this is the 11th week, and we still don't have it back. Old mate's pretty much stopped replying to me, so it's a pretty hard one because we've got a lot of labor tied up in that one, which obviously is still stuck here. And as you can see, our facilities don't really grant us the room to have the luxury to have big projects like this to sit around. You know, it really does hurt us having things like this just sitting here while we're waiting for parts that are out of our control. It's very painful. So not only is it hurting us, it's the owner's work car, and it's now been here for way longer than it was meant to be, so it's costing him money. So it's just costing everyone money all around, the fact that that's ended up the way it is, and it's a real pain. All right, so out here we've got Crustita, which I just explained why that didn't go ahead. Unfortunately, like we did try pretty hard to get it there, but it's just not going to happen, and there's no point rushing and you know, it's a pretty high tier build at this point, so no point in rushing it to meet that deadline, and we didn't quite make it. Now the VS is really cracking along. It's actually really good. I'm excited for you to see the content. I've just got to go pick up and pay for my tail shaft. Apart from that, everything's here. The motor and box are currently in the car. Loom's currently in the car. Really just waiting on time. It's just one of those things, because it's my own car, it's sort of been neglected and fell by the wayside. While I've been working on customer stuff, unfortunately, it's just a side effect of what's been going on. The poor old VY, the 383, we've now been waiting since the end of last year for the latest part for that and the new direction that it's taking. It was meant to be here latest end of January, and we're now nearly at the end of March, and we're still waiting for that part. So it's another thing that's been held up because of parts that are out of our control. It's a real pain, and it's another thing that we have quite a lot of labor tied up in. So, you know, between that and this Patrol inside and the Crustita, which, you know, same thing, we've got a lot of labor tied up. It's been a big month of big, long hours, really working hard, but everything has sort of fallen short and nothing has really got us over the line. And, you know, it's sort of just meant we've come up short on cash and no time. So obviously between our long-term projects, we try and book in tunes all through the month. As you guys know, we do a lot of tunes sort of scattered in throughout things. It's been just another bad month for tunes. This Patrol here, pretty exciting car, Turbo Patrol. Another thing sort of came here, had issues. We ended up spending a few days just fault finding, trying to narrow down what the issues were. It went back to the customer. It's all fixed now, it's back here. We're really excited to get back into it. But another one of those things where just not a non-result didn't sort of quite get us over the line. Old Pink 33 here's back with a new hot side. It's another thing that's been here now for almost a month, just because of issues. Had issues with injectors, issue with the oil feed line for a turbo, which had to be replaced. Now we're having issues with the trigger kit, with having it starting and stuff like that. You'll see it in the content, but just another thing that's been here for a month. Again, still just hasn't been finished. We had another Intech powered, or turboed Intech powered E-Series Falcon come here just before Matsuri, which was powered by a FG ECU with the turbo and stuff like that. You know, really nicely done. Once again, had issues with a backfiring issue, intermittent, spent all day fault finding, only to pretty much never get a result out of it. And once again, another tune that didn't quite go through. So it's been just a bad month all around of a lot of those stories. Even pretty much the only tune this month that's actually sort of gone right was we did a HQ ute for a bloke that's heading to Rocky Nuts. Again, sort of last minute. Even then, it only went right just. We had a whole day of fault finding, issues with tires. We ended up, you know, an old set of tires that I had down there, which I saved from the missus' old tyre change in her old car because they were still sort of good. We ended up putting those tyres on the front runners from Raucous to get it on the HQ, just to get it by on the tune. We didn't end up getting that done till 4 o'clock, just the tyres, and then that tune went on till 8 o'clock at night. Like, it's just another thing. At least we did get that done though, and we got a result, which was really good, and we're really excited about it. But, you know, it's just been a crappy month. Honestly, it's just been all around a terrible ass month. And because I haven't been able to, you know, edit, I haven't been able to put out content, there's been nothing really moving as far as content or merch goes. I haven't had any time, obviously, to spend on the parts shop website because I haven't even had time to edit. So, you know, everything sort of just slowed up. It just feels like this month we've just been doing massive hours and gone nowhere. And it's been really disheartening and a really, really hard slog. So anyway, that's pretty much where we've been. You know, up until the end of last month, I suppose, I was just not editing because I was trying to back up content so I could start releasing, obviously, like I said, full builds at a time. So it was just a bit nicer for everyone to follow. I figure maybe the channel will do a bit better that way. I will scatter little bits of content, things like the pink thing. I made another heap of content on that just because I made so much content on it the first time. So I will scatter things like that in between builds, but for the most part, I wanted to, you know, have a one big build at a time on the channel and just release that content as we go, rather than, you know, a little bit on this build, a little bit on that build, a little bit on the next build. Oh, it's a 12-week wait now for a little bit on that build again. Like, it was getting too hard for everyone to follow, I feel, and it was all over the place. So anyway, that's pretty much just an explanation of where we've been. Like I said, it's probably a bit of oversharing, but it's probably good for everyone to know that it's not all strippers and coke around here. It's a bit of a hard slog. We work pretty hard to do what we do. And yeah, sometimes things like this happen, and it's just painful. Like, we've just got so much time tied up and so much labor around in a heap of different projects, which were just held up because of things that are out of control, out of our control for the most part. And you know, it's frustrating because a lot of that time could have been spent doing the VS or something. Then at least it would be done and I'd have something to sell and cash in and keep on going. But we're stuck at this point where we're going into Easter and nothing's done. And, you know, over Easter, obviously everything's going to be slow. Probably not much is going to be happening. So anyway, it's just hard. But anyway, at the very least over Easter, because things will be slow, I'll have a lot of time to edit, which is why I'm sort of making this video. I'm going to start releasing content again regularly. Now that we've got like that radiator for the cruiser, like I said, we'll start getting into that and get that finished off. So I'll start releasing content on that soon, because by the time you watch all those episodes up to where we're up to, we should have that thing finished and on the dyno, ready to tune, ready to go. So anyway, hopefully we get the loom back for this thing soon as well, because that's the only thing we're sort of waiting for that. Once we've got the loom back, we're ready to hit the key. So excited for that, because it's been a pretty cool build as well. A few cool little nifty tricks and little custom built brackets to make everything work and things like that. Things that probably will help a lot of people. But anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is there's heaps of content to come. Just haven't been able to finish anything and start releasing anything. So that's where we've been. Anyway, we'll get there. We will get there. I'm pretty keen to get into the VS after Easter. Hopefully we can make some more time and stop doing so many hours. But the whole thing we're working towards is we want to start getting into common rail diesel tuning. That's why we sort of were hoping to get this thing sorted this month, get the Crustita sorted this month, get the VS finished this month and get it sold. We were hoping to sort of really cash ourselves up and start getting into doing common rail stuff. It's a really big outlay to get the software set up to do it. You know, we've always been keen to go into diesel, mostly because of our geographical position. It's a massive market for us where we are. It'd be a no-brainer to go into it. There's so much market out there for it. But not only that, because diesel modifications are usually pretty cut and shut, it's usually just like exhausts and snorkels, pretty basic stuff. We are pretty sure that we will generally find that doing diesel tunes will run into way less issues. It'll be way different to things like this, which are, you know, super highly modified and usually done by owners themselves at home, whatever, and massive modifications, which usually end up in issues and things that we're fault finding, which, you know, ends up in heaps of time spent and things like this where we don't quite get over the line. So we're hoping that diesel tuning sort of offsets that a little bit, where even if we're only doing that two days a week, we've got some stuff that I suppose we know is guaranteed to work and get through it. So that's what we're working towards. That's why we were sort of hoping to smash out this month, do the hours, get it happening. Next month we can move into diesels and, you know, have a bit more time to do our own stuff and make it happen, but we've come up short as far as just getting projects out of here. So anyway, we'll keep you posted, but at least we're back on the YouTube grind. So I hope you're looking forward to it. Smash the like, smash subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Peace out, see you, bye guys.